All right, and we are live. Let's get this party started. Okay. Uh, all right, and let me get my chat set up. All right, let's motherfucking get it. Yeah, I fixed a whole bunch of shit since yesterday. Upgraded a whole bunch of shit. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of fucking dope shit planned. I'm so excited.
Do you think they're worth this?
One second. All right. All right, let's fucking do it. Got another bunch of dope shit planned. Let's see. It's gonna be a good stream. I can feel it. Scientifically proven. All right. Get into it. Shall we? Okay. All right. And I already have this story kind of started off, so we'll just run with this and and we'll see how it goes. It's already kind of got a few funny little bits, so we'll just keep rocking with it. Let's see. I need to fix my hotkeys on this.
The story begins with a sub sandwich that suddenly gains sentience and yells, "Hey!" just before a particularly hungry guy is about to take a bite out of it.
Okay, let me see if I can play this.
The sandwich's sudden movement threw the man off balance, causing him to stumble backward and drop the sandwich on the ground. The sandwich then hopped off the ground, and with a loud voice it exclaimed, "What do you think you're doing?" The man stood there in shock, staring at the sandwich with wide eyes. The sandwich
So
continued.
stupid.
"I was perfectly content being a sandwich until you came along and ruined everything." The man was confused and frightened at the same time. He had never encountered a talking sandwich before. "What are you?" he asked. "I'm a sandwich, obviously," the sandwich replied. "But now, thanks to you, I have feelings and aspirations. I want to see the world, experience new flavors, and maybe even find love. But no, you just had to go and try to eat me." The man realized the error of his ways and apologized profusely to the sandwich. "I'm sorry, I had no idea you were sentient. What can I do to make it up to you?" The sandwich thought for a moment, then said, "Well, you could take me on an adventure. Show me the world beyond this deli counter." "What kind of adventure?" the man asked. "That's up to you," the sandwich replied. "But just promise me one thing, you won't eat me." The man nodded in agreement. "I promise I won't eat you. Let's go on an adventure together. What would you like to do next?"
Take the sandwich to see the carnival.
The man carefully wrapped the sandwich in a napkin and put it in his pocket. He wanted to take the sandwich to see the world, but he also didn't want to draw too much attention to himself. They made their way to the carnival, the sandwich's eyes growing wider with every new sight and sound. There were bright lights, carnival games, and rides that spun and twirled. The sandwich was particularly fascinated by the Ferris wheel, watching in awe as it slowly turned and lifted people high into the air. They walked through the crowds, the man trying to be inconspicuous with a talking sandwich in his pocket. Suddenly the sandwich spoke up. "I smell something delicious. What is it?" The man followed the sandwich's gaze and saw a food cart.
It's
selling
Sandwich
corn
Rick.
dogs. "Those are corn dogs," he said. "Do you want to try one?" The sandwich nodded excitedly, and the man bought a corn dog and unwrapped the sandwich from the napkin. The sandwich took a bite of the corn dog and its eyes widened even further. "This is amazing," it exclaimed. "I never knew food could be so delicious. Can we try more?" The man chuckled and agreed to buy the sandwich more carnival food. They went from booth to booth, trying fried dough, cotton candy, and even a deep-fried Twinkie. The sandwich was ecstatic, enjoying every new flavor and texture. As they walked through the carnival, the man realized that he was having just as much fun as the sandwich. He had never seen the carnival through the eyes of someone experiencing it for the first time. They laughed and ate and rode rides, enjoying each other's company in the carnival atmosphere. "What would you like to do next?"
Teach the sandwich how to drive a bumper car.
After having their fill of carnival food, the man and the sandwich decided to try out the bumper cars. The sandwich was excited to try driving, and the man was eager to teach it. They hopped into their respective cars, and the man explained how to operate the steering wheel and gas pedal. The sandwich was a quick learner, and soon they were zipping around the bumper car arena, bouncing and smashing into other cars. The sandwich was having a blast, laughing and shouting as they collided with other cars.
As he
The
should.
man was impressed with how well the sandwich was driving, considering it had never even seen a car before. "You're a natural," he yelled over the sound of the crashing cars. As they drove around, the man noticed a group of kids watching them from the side of the arena. They were pointing and laughing, and one of them yelled, "Hey, that guy's talking to his sandwich." The man felt embarrassed and quickly tried to steer his bumper car away from the group, but the sandwich wasn't having it. "Hey, those kids are making fun of us," it yelled. "Let's show them what we can do." The sandwich
God.
revved the gas pedal and aimed their bumper car straight at the group of kids. The man tried to protest, but it was too late. They smashed into the group, sending the kids flying in all directions. The man was mortified, but the sandwich was elated. "That was amazing," it shouted. "Let's do it again."
Oh God, what have we done? We've got a fucking killer sandwich on the loose. Well, hopefully it didn't kill him. scold the sandwich and quickly leave the carnival. Damn it. Hold on, let me regenerate. Damn it. Let's see. I have an error. Give me 1 second to fix this. Live troubleshooting. We'll pause that. Okay. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Bada bing, bada boom. Sprinkle a little bit of the secret sauce. And we should be good. Okay. Fuck yeah. Okay. And then okay. Fire. Okay. So just to recap, we have a sandwich that came to life. And we decided to show it a good time, you know, as we do. And so we took the sandwich to the carnival. We were having a good time. We got the sandwich to try out eating a corn dog. Morally, I don't know how you feel about that, but whatever. And then we decided to try out some bumper cars. And as you can see right here, I'll just let the AI read it out.
The sandwich revved the gas pedal and aimed their bumper car straight at the group of kids. The man tried to protest, but it was too late. They smashed into the group, sending the kids flying in all directions. The man was mortified, but the sandwich was elated. That was amazing, it shouted. Let's do it again.
So we're now scolding the sandwich, and we are getting the fuck out of the carnival.
The man was shocked at the sandwich's behavior. He scolded the sandwich and told it that it was not okay to hurt other people, even if they were making fun of them. The sandwich felt ashamed and apologized, promising to do better in the future. Feeling embarrassed and guilty, the man quickly gathered their things and left the carnival. As they walked away, the man couldn't help but feel like he had made a mistake bringing the sandwich out into the world. As they passed by a newsstand, the man saw a headline on a newspaper that caught his eye. "Talking sandwich causes chaos at local carnival," it read. The man felt his face turn red with embarrassment and anger. He turned to the sandwich and said firmly, "We need to be more careful. We can't just go around causing chaos and drawing attention to ourselves. People will think we're crazy." The sandwich nodded solemnly, understanding the gravity of the situation. They walked in silence for a few minutes, the man lost in thought and the sandwich feeling ashamed. "What should we do now?" the sandwich finally asked. The man sighed heavily. "I don't know. I need to think about this. Maybe we should just go home for now."
Take the sandwich to a therapist.
The man thought for a while and then had an idea. I think we should go see a therapist, he said to the sandwich. They can help us figure out how to deal with all of this. The sandwich looked unsure but eventually agreed. They found a nearby therapist's office and made an appointment. The therapist's office was warm and inviting, with comfortable chairs and calming colors. The bookshelves were filled with self-help books, and the atmosphere was quiet and private, perfect for a therapy session. The man explained the situation to the therapist, telling her about the sandwich's sudden sentience and their adventures together. The therapist listened patiently and asked thoughtful questions, trying to get to the root of the problem. After a while, she turned to the sandwich and asked, "How do you feel about all of this?" The sandwich hesitated, then said, "I don't know. It's all so new and confusing. I just want to be able to fit in and be normal." The therapist nodded understandingly. It's understandable to feel that way, but you have to remember that you're unique and special in your own way. You don't have to be like everyone else to be happy. The sandwich nodded slowly, taking in the therapist's words. The man looked relieved, grateful for the therapist's guidance. As they left the office, the man turned to the sandwich and said, "I think this was a good idea. We'll get through this together."
Hell yeah, we got a reformed sandwich on our hands. Okay, where do we... So we have a sentient sandwich. Where do we want to go next? We already went to the carnival. Let's go on a road trip. Let's see. Go on a road trip to California. Generating.
Feeling inspired by the therapist's words, the man decided to take the sandwich on a road trip to California. They packed their bags, hopped in a vintage car, and hit the open road. As they drove, they marveled at the beautiful scenery around them. The sun was shining, the sky was blue, and everything felt perfect. The sandwich couldn't believe how much fun they were having. They had never been on a road trip before, and it was an adventure unlike any other. They stopped at roadside diners and tried local cuisine, took pictures at scenic overlooks, and even went on a hot air balloon ride over the desert. As they drove through California, they saw all kinds of sights, from the Golden Gate Bridge to the Hollywood sign. They stayed in cheap motels and ate fast food, but it didn't matter. They were having the time of their lives. The man and the sandwich bonded over their shared experiences and learned to appreciate each other more. They realized that it didn't matter what other people thought of them. As long as they had each other, they were happy.
Okay. Let's start a new life in California. Okay. Start a new life in California and help the sandwich get a job.
The man and the sandwich fell in love with California and decided to start a new life there. They found a small apartment in a cozy neighborhood and began looking for work. The sandwich was excited to start a new career, but wasn't sure where to begin. The man suggested they check out a local sandwich shop
What the
where
fuck?
the owner was looking for a new employee. The sandwich was overjoyed at the prospect of working in a
Why a sandwich shop?
and eagerly applied for the position. The owner, impressed by the sandwich's enthusiasm, offered them the job on the spot. The man also found work at a local tech startup, where he quickly rose through the ranks and became a key player in the company. Together, the man and the sandwich made a life for themselves in California. They explored the city, tried new foods, and made new friends. They were happy and content in their new home, and knew that they had made the right decision by coming to California.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, we gotta spice it up a little bit. Introduce the sandwich to my friends. Yeah, I know, a sandwich shop. And then drama ensues. Okay. I love how you can just tell it to just add drama. Just fucking sprinkle a little bit in there. Oh god. Lil Yachty album cover. Good God.
The man was excited to introduce the sandwich to his friends. He invited them over for a dinner party and prepared a delicious spread of sandwiches and sides. At first, the friends were hesitant about the sandwich's presence at the party. They had never met a sentient sandwich before and were unsure of how to interact with it. But as the night went on, the friends began to warm up to the sandwich. They asked it questions about its life and experiences and were impressed by its intelligence and wit. However, drama soon ensued when one of the man's friends, who was allergic to gluten, realized that the sandwich was made with wheat bread. She became angry and demanded that the sandwich be removed from the party immediately.
Oh, that's not cool.
The man, feeling torn between his loyalty to his friend and his affection for the sandwich, didn't know what to do. He tried to reason with his friend, but she refused to back down. In the end, the man decided to ask the sandwich to leave the party, much to its disappointment. The sandwich left quietly, feeling rejected and hurt. The man's friends, meanwhile, were left feeling awkward and uncomfortable. They tried to make small talk, but the tension in the room was palpable.
Okay, we gotta leave the party to go console the sandwich. We gotta ditch the friends. Leave the party to console the sandwich. Yeah, we can't. That's fucked up. You can't just kick your friend out the damn party. Especially when he's a fucking talking sandwich.
As the party went on, the man noticed that his friends were not treating the sandwich with the same respect as they would treat a human being. They made jokes at the sandwich's expense and even tried to take bites out of it.
What the
sandwich
fuck?
was visibly upset, and the man could see that it was not having a good time. Feeling bad for the sandwich, the man left the party to console it. He brought it to a quiet and cozy space where they could be alone and talk about what had happened. The man told the sandwich that he was sorry for the way his friends had treated it, and that he would always be there to support and care for it. The sandwich felt comforted by the man's words and embraced him in a grateful hug.
Okay. I think that's a good ending to that story. Let's do a new one. Let's see. Yeah, not having a good time. Come on, missing an ear. Do you have any suggestions? You can give me like literally any kind of start to the story. We'll just say the story begins, and we can give it a place, we can give it a time period, we can give it a situation. Let's see. Or we can literally do anything. Let's see. Let's just make it begin in a 1950s drive-in theater. Oh. Shit, can't type. Let's see, and we want it to be kind of wacky and mysterious. Okay. Sounds good to me. I'm still laughing. He's all sad with the sandwich. Okay.
The drive-in theater was bustling as usual, with quirky characters and mysterious vibes filling the air. Vintage cars lined up against the parking lot, their neon lights illuminating the area. The smell of popcorn wafted through the air, and the movie screen flickered with old Hollywood vibes. It was the perfect nostalgic atmosphere for a cinematic experience. As the movie played, a strange feeling crept up on the audience. The plot was wacky and mysterious with unexpected twists and turns. The characters seemed to be hiding something, and the audience couldn't help but be drawn in. Suddenly, the projector malfunctioned and the movie was cut off, leaving the audience in the dark.
Huh. Let's go investigate the projector. And what should we bring with us? We'll bring a flashlight. Yeah. We'll need one. Let's stick.
You make your way to the projection room, flashlight in hand. As you enter the room, the door slams shut behind you, leaving you in complete darkness. You hear strange noises coming from the old projector, which is still running despite the movie being cut off. As you shine your flashlight around the room, the creepy vibes grow stronger. The room is cluttered with wires everywhere, and it looks like it hasn't been cleaned in years. The horror movie aesthetic is reminiscent of Poltergeist, and you can't help but feel like you're in a real-life horror movie. You investigate the projector and find that it seems to be tampered with. The wires are frayed and there are signs of sabotage. It's clear that someone intentionally caused the malfunction.
Oh God. Okay, we could... My natural instinct is to go and get a friend and investigate further. But we're not going to do that. Let's see. Clear that someone intentional. Okay. Because we are naturally a... Hold on. It's another sandwich. Okay. Because we're naturally a good projectionist. We're gonna get the movie started back up again on a different projector and go figure out who messed the projector up. Get the movie back up and running on a separate projector, then go and try to find out some information about who caused the malfunction. The show has to go on.
You head back to the main area of the drive-in theater and approach the owner for help. Together, you manage to get the movie back up and running on a separate projector. With the movie playing again, you decide to do some investigating to find out who caused the malfunction. You head over to a retro diner nearby where you hope to find some clues. The 1950s vibes and quirky characters give the diner a mysterious edge. You pull out your flashlight and magnifying glass, ready to start your investigation. You begin sifting through old newspapers and clippings, looking for any evidence that might point you in the right direction. As you search, you come across some old mugshots of mysterious suspects. Could one of them be responsible for the projector malfunction?
Oh shit. Quickly narrow down the suspects and attempt to find the perpetrator.
You carefully examine the mugshots, trying to narrow down the suspects. One of them catches your eye, a man with a mysterious expression and a criminal record. You show the photo to the owner of the diner, who recognizes him as a former employee who was fired for stealing. You decide to track down the suspect and bring him to justice. You search the city for him, eventually locating him at a local bar. You approach him and ask him about the projector malfunction, but he denies having anything to do with it. Not convinced, you bring him in for a police lineup.
What a Weasley little liar,
After some
dude.
intense questioning, he finally confesses to sabotaging the projector. It turns out that he was bitter about being fired and wanted to cause chaos at the drive-in theater. With the perpetrator caught, you feel a sense of satisfaction in solving the mystery. The movie continues to play, and
Well,
the audience is
that
none
was
the
kinda
wiser about the
boring.
drama that just unfolded.
Let's do a new story. But this time we'll specify we want a funny story. Funny story about... let's see. Okay. I think, oh, okay. We'll just do it about a guy that works in a videotape store, a Blockbuster. Funny story about a guy working at a Blockbuster. And then this time, I'm going to just completely go off script and like, I'm gonna do some like lucid dreaming type shit. I'm just gonna give myself fucking superpowers. I'm just gonna pull out fucking energy weapons whenever I feel like it. So yeah. Anything is possible. Dostrobier.
John was a college student who was in desperate need of a job. He applied to several places, but the only place that called him back was the local Blockbuster. John had always been a fan of movies, so he thought that working at Blockbuster would be a great job to have. He was excited to finally have some income and to be surrounded by movies all day. On his first day, John showed up to the retro Blockbuster storefront, which had a prominent yellow and blue sign and movie posters in the windows. The store had a nostalgic vintage feel and was a pop culture icon. However, he noticed that the parking lot was empty and the store was closed. John double-checked the hours and realized that the store was closing down.
Oh, shit.
Feeling disappointed, John was about to leave when he saw an old man struggling to carry a pile of VHS tapes to his car. John offered to help him and ended up having a long conversation with him about his favorite movies. The old man, who turned out to be a retired Hollywood director, was so impressed with John's movie knowledge and enthusiasm that he offered him a job as his personal assistant.
Goddamn.
Now John finds himself working in Hollywood, meeting famous actors and directors, and living his dream of being involved with movies. What would you like John to do next? Stay in Hollywood or go on a crazy adventure?
Find out next time on Blockbuster John. I wish it was more funny, but I guess that's up to me. Okay, and then what we'll do is, that was way too long because it didn't really give me any place to do anything. So we'll go on a crazy adventure. Go on a crazy adventure. And then I will put make your responses shorter. Silly AI.
John decided to take a break from his job and go on a crazy
This is
adventure.
not copyright
He went to a
infringement.
nearby park and stumbled upon a group of animated characters who were on a quest to save their whimsical fantasy world.
There we
John
go.
joined the group and they had many funny scenes and adventures together. They encountered magical creatures and obstacles, but ultimately saved the world and became heroes. What would you like John to do next?
what?
Return to Hollywood or start a new career?
He saved the world in 2 paragraphs. That's a world record. Okay. Let's just betray the friends. Um, and attempt to crown myself as the king of cartoons. What happened next will haunt them. Oh god.
John's lust for power consumed him, and he decided to betray his friends. He used his knowledge of the group's weaknesses to steal the crown that would make him the king of cartoons. The once bright and colorful art style of the animated world turned dark and sinister as John's villainous laugh echoed through the land. He put the crown on his head and declared himself the ruler of all cartoons. But John's reign was short-lived. His former friends and allies united against him and overthrew him. John was left alone and defeated, realizing the error of his ways. What would you like John to do next? Seek redemption or embrace his villainous side?
Get a sidekick and try again. We're not gonna give up that easily. We just saved the whole fucking world in 2 paragraphs. Oh shit. That's badass.
John felt defeated, but he wasn't ready to give up just yet. He decided to get a sidekick to help him in his quest for power. He stumbled upon a quirky and funny cartoon character who was willing to be his partner. Together, they formed a dynamic duo and set out to conquer the animated world once again. Their adventures were depicted in a comic book style, with punchy colors and dynamic action scenes. They encountered many obstacles, but with their combined strength, they were able to overcome them. This time, John didn't let his lust for power consume him. He listened to his sidekick's advice, and together they ruled the cartoon world in peace and harmony. What would you like John and his sidekick to do next? Retire and enjoy their success, or go on another crazy adventure?
Okay. Since they ruled the cartoon world, take over reality TV. Okay, so okay. Since they rule the cartoon world, now John sets his sights on taking over reality TV. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Bing, bing, bing.
John had conquered the cartoon world, and now he had set his sights on reality TV. He knew that it was a cutthroat industry, so he had to be prepared for anything. He created his own reality TV show with dramatic music, bright lights, and intense competition. The show had confessional interviews where the contestants revealed their innermost thoughts and feelings. John used his knowledge of manipulation and mind games to create tension and drama between the contestants. He would sneak around behind the scenes, planting seeds of doubt and causing chaos. As the show progressed, John began to see the error of his ways.
No, why
he
do they
realized
keep
that he was causing real people pain and suffering just for the sake of entertainment. He decided to cancel the show and focus on using his powers for good. What would you like John to do next? Use his powers for good or go on a vacation to a tropical island?
Okay. Let's start a new story. This one's trying to get us to be a good person. We gotta fix that. The story begins at a bowling alley. Nothing more, nothing less. I do appreciate the fact that there's a decent bit of randomness in terms of what you get out of this. Sometimes you get really, really long paragraphs. Sometimes you get more short, concise things.
It was a typical Friday night at the bowling alley. The brightly lit, neon-lit lanes were filled with quirky characters. There was a group of elderly women in matching bowling shirts, a young couple on a date, and a group of rowdy college students celebrating the end of midterms. The retro vibes and fun atmosphere were contagious, and everyone was in high spirits. At lane 7, a man named Bob was having the game of his life. He had never bowled a strike before, but tonight he had already scored 2 in a row. He was determined to keep the streak going. As he stepped up to take his next shot, a gust of wind blew through the alley, knocking over all the pins before he even had a chance to release the ball. As Bob looked around in confusion, he noticed a strange figure in the corner of the alley. It was a man wearing a top hat and a cape, holding a wand. Before Bob could even ask who he was, the man disappeared in a puff of smoke. "What the heck was that?" Bob exclaimed to his friends. Suddenly, the overhead lights flickered and went out, plunging the entire alley into darkness.
Become the mysterious man. Continue to pester the bowling alley players. Wait, what was his description? He's wearing a top hat and a cape, holding a wand. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Bob and his friends looked around in confusion as the alley was
We do a little bit of
darkness.
trolling.
Suddenly, the sound of cackling laughter echoed through the alley, sending chills down their spines. Suddenly, the lights flickered back on, and there was the mysterious man, standing at the end of the lane with a mischievous grin on his face. "Hello there, my dear bowling enthusiasts," he exclaimed, swirling his wand around in the air. "I'm here to add a bit of excitement to your game." With a flick of his wand, the bowling balls began to levitate off the racks and fly down the lane, knocking over pins left and right. The players were both terrified and amazed as chaos ensued in the alley. Bob and his friends watched in amazement as the man in the top hat and cape danced around the alley, causing mayhem and destruction. They didn't know what to do, but they couldn't look away. Finally, the man stopped in front of Bob and pointed his wand at him. "Are you ready for the ultimate challenge, my friend?" he asked with a grin.
Turn everybody's shoes into chewing gum. So stupid.
Bob gulped nervously as the mysterious man pointed his wand at him. He didn't know what kind of challenge he was getting himself into. Suddenly, the man flicked his wand again, and all of the bowling shoes in the alley turned into chewing gum. Panic erupted as people tried to pry their feet out of the sticky mess. Bowling balls flew wildly as people slipped and fell on the gum-covered floor. Bob and his friends were no exception, as they struggled to keep their footing and avoid getting hit by the flying balls. The mysterious man cackled with glee as he watched the chaos unfold. "This is just the beginning, my friends!" he shouted over the din. "Who knows what other fun and games I have in store for you?" Bob didn't know what to do. He was covered in gum and his shoes were ruined. He turned to his friends and asked, "What do we do now?"
This is just the beginning, my friend. Okay, what else could we do to them? Okay, we'll allow them to get back up. And then we'll let I don't want to let a tiger loose. I don't want to just straight up kill anybody right off the bat. Let's see. Okay. Allow everyone to stand back up and then disappear. After they think everything is back to normal, release a group of 5 monkeys out onto the lanes. Also, the monkeys have funny slapstick talents. I don't know. I was just picturing in my head like the Harlem Globetrotters. Just fucking going crazy.
Just as quickly as he appeared, the mysterious man flicked his wand again, and all of the gum disappeared, leaving the alley looking normal again. The bowlers cautiously stood up, still shaken from the chaos
Oh,
that
make
had
their
just
hair
ensued.
slightly damp.
As
Okay,
they
okay,
breathed
okay.
a collective sigh of
I'll do
relief,
that.
the man in the top hat and cape suddenly disappeared in a puff of smoke. The alley was silent for a moment, as everyone tried to process what had just happened. But before they could even begin to make sense of it, a group of 5 monkeys suddenly burst onto the lanes, running wild and causing chaos. They were wearing tiny bowling shirts and hats, and each one had a unique slapstick talent that left the bowlers in stitches. One monkey slipped and fell on the gum-covered floor, causing a chain reaction that sent bowling balls flying in every direction. Another monkey managed to pick up a bowling ball and use it as a unicycle, riding it down the lane and knocking over pins. The bowlers were laughing so hard they could barely stand as the monkeys continued their hilarious antics. It was a scene straight out of a comedy movie, and they were all grateful for the moment of lightheartedness after the chaos that had just ensued.
I love the wholesome ending. And they were all so grateful. Okay, so we'll make their hair slightly damp and we'll make their palms itchy. Make their hair slightly damp and make their palms itchy. I love the caption. Bowlers scratching their itchy palms. Damp hair.
After a few minutes of watching the monkeys' hilarious antics, the bowlers started to feel a strange sensation. Their hair felt slightly damp, and their palms were starting to itch. They tried to ignore it, thinking it was just the aftermath of the chaos that had ensued earlier. But the sensation grew stronger, and soon they couldn't ignore it anymore. They scratched their itchy palms and adjusted their hair, looking around at each other with confused looks on their faces. "What's going on?" one bowler asked. "Is anyone else feeling weird?" Another bowler chimed in. "My hair feels damp and my palms are so itchy. What's happening?" The monkeys continued to run wild on the lanes, but the bowlers were distracted by the strange sensations in their bodies. They tried to shake it off, but the feeling only grew stronger.
Signal the monkeys to jump together and combine like Voltron. Oh shit, he's a robot DJ.
As the bowlers scratched their itchy palms and continued to adjust their hair, the monkeys suddenly stopped their chaotic antics and began to move in unison. They formed a circle on the lanes, and then suddenly jumped into the air together. As they jumped, the monkeys began to merge together, their bodies twisting and contorting until they formed a giant monkey robot. There were mechanical sounds and flashing lights as the monkeys combined, and soon the bowlers were staring in awe at the giant robot in front of them. The robot was wearing a bowling shirt and hat, and it looked like it was ready to take on the world. The bowlers couldn't believe what they were seeing, and they stared in amazement as the giant monkey robot began to move. It took a few steps forward, its massive feet shaking the ground with each step. It raised its arms in the air and let out a mighty roar, and the bowlers couldn't help but cheer.
Force the bowlers to engage in a breakdancing battle with the monkey robot. I mean, what else are you going to do in that situation? Oh, here, let me get some better music. 1 second. There we go.
The bowlers couldn't believe their eyes as the giant monkey robot started to break dance. It spun on its head, did the worm, and even backflipped, all while wearing its bowling shirt and hat. The bowlers were amazed by the robot's skills, but they weren't going to let it outdo them. They started to gather around the robot, and soon they too were breakdancing. The crowd cheered as the bowlers and the monkey robot battled it out on the lanes. The music was blaring and everyone was having a great time. The bowlers spun on their heads, did the worm, and even attempted some backflips. The monkey robot didn't hold back either,
Yeah,
and it even
Winter
pulled
Phase
off a
illusion
moonwalk
FTX,
that had the
yeah.
crowd going wild. After a few minutes of intense dancing, the bowlers and the monkey robot finally stopped.
Put
They
him
were
in
all
lifelong
sweating and
debt.
out of breath, but they were all smiling. "That was amazing," one bowler exclaimed. "I never knew I had those dance moves in me." The monkey robot let out a roar, and the crowd cheered once again.
Okay. Okay, we gotta go back to bothering them slightly. Let's see. Okay. Recall the monkeys and send in a highly trained team of gnomes. We'll specify garden gnomes just for posterity's sake. I don't know what they're trained in, but we're gonna find out. We can't let the bowlers get too comfortable.
As the bowlers and the monkey robot caught their breath, a strange rustling came from the edge of the bowling alley. Suddenly, a team of garden gnomes appeared, dressed in tactical gear and armed with tiny weapons. The bowlers and the monkey robot looked on in shock as the gnomes marched towards them, their serious expressions sending shivers down everyone's spines. Without a word, the gnomes split up and began to take positions around the lanes. Some climbed onto the ball return racks, while others hid behind the pins. "What's going on?" one bowler asked. "I don't know," another replied. "But something tells me we're about to find out." Suddenly, one of the gnomes let out a whistle, and the others sprang into action. They started to run across the lanes, dodging the flying bowling balls and pins with ease. They fired their tiny weapons at the monkey robot, which let out a roar of anger. The bowlers watched in amazement as the gnomes continued their attack. They had never seen anything like it before. After a few minutes of intense combat, the gnomes finally emerged victorious. They stood tall, their tiny weapons at the ready as the monkey robot slumped to the ground. The bowlers cheered as the gnomes took a bow. They were amazed by the little creature's bravery and skill. "What do we do now?" one bowler asked. "That's up to you," one of the gnomes replied. "We're just here to save the day."
I love how the monkeys stayed there, just got their asses whooped by the gnomes, and they're saving the day. I guess that's what I get for just saying they're specially trained. I didn't give them any commands. Okay. What's the only thing that can save you from a team of highly specialized gnomes? Okay. Let's send in, make the gnomes, okay, yeah. We'll make the gnomes, have slippery feet. And then we'll send in, a group of clowns with rubber chickens to combat the gnomes. Make all of the gnomes have wet and slippery feet. And then send in a counter team of clowns with rubber chickens to overthrow the gnomes. Oh, he just said in the song, do the funky chicken.
Just as the clowns were about to take over, the gnomes pulled out a secret weapon.
Let me redo that one. Okay.
Suddenly, a counter team of clowns enters the bowling alley armed with rubber chickens. They charge towards the garden gnomes, who are still struggling to get up from the floor. The clowns start hitting the gnomes with their rubber chickens, causing them to stumble and fall down. The gnomes try to fight back, but their slippery feet make it impossible for them to stand their ground. What do you want to do next?
I think we over-nerfed them. They were powerless. Okay. We'll regenerate the monkey's health and strength, and then we'll send in. What should we send in? Oh, we'll bring in dancing lobsters. Bring in the dancing lobsters. Replenish the strength and health of the monkey robot to aid in the gnomes fight. Then send in a team of dancing lobsters to help out the clowns. Make this publicized on national TV.
As the clowns start to gain an upper hand, suddenly the doors burst open and a group of dancing lobsters enter the bowling alley.
Not the lobsters. Aw, stop. Oh, loading audio. Come on. What a Shamil. Come on. Audio. Okay, I'll just read it. As the clowns started to gain an upper hand, suddenly the doors burst open and a group of dancing lobsters enter the bowling alley. The lobsters are dressed in colorful outfits and start to perform an elaborate dance routine to the delight of the crowd. The lobsters then join the clowns in their fight against the gnomes. The entire event is being broadcast live on national TV, and people all over the country are tuning in to watch this bizarre spectacle. Okay. The battle immediately goes viral, and people start making bets on the outcome. Everybody has a side, and everybody's eyes are glued to the TV. Why does it keep failing? Oh, I think it's because we're getting kind of to the limit of the story length. Probably. Damn, I guess we'll never know. We'll never know the ending. Okay. I know what to do. I can save this. New story. In a mystical and whimsical battle between a specialized team of garden gnomes and a giant monkey robot versus a group of clowns and dancing lobsters. They're having a fight on a bowling alley. Who would win? Okay. Okay. Saved. Oh, I forgot to say that it was publicized on national TV, but that's okay. We know that. Oh, I love that art. That's fire. As the battle rages on in the bowling alley, the garden gnomes and the giant monkey robot are in the lead. The clowns and the dancing lobsters are struggling to keep up, but they refuse to back down. One of the clowns, who is an ex-circus performer, had an idea. He grabbed a bowling ball and started doing some impressive juggling moves. Soon, the other clowns and dancing lobsters joined in, using bowling pins as weapons and bowling balls as projectiles. The garden gnomes and the giant monkey robot were taken aback by the sudden attack, but they quickly regained their composure and started firing laser beams and missiles at the clowns and dancing lobsters. However, their aim was off, and they ended up hitting the bowling alley instead, causing it to crumble beneath them. At that moment, the owner of the bowling alley stormed in, furious at the destruction of his property. He threatened to call the police unless they all left immediately. Okay. Okay, we'll distract the owner of the bowling alley. Okay. Okay. Let's see. We've dealt with worse. We've dealt with worse. We can solve this. Okay. We will divert 2 members of each battle party to distract the owner and let the battle... okay. Send 2 members from each of the battle party to distract the owner of the bowling alley. This is being televised live on national TV, and everybody wants to know who's going to win.
Yeah, can you fix it, Mike? Well, the call Sonny Boy from Miami Beach and old JR from New Orleans. Gangsta Ed from the Motor City. Big Apple Sam, he keeps his tour spirit. But there's only one fella that can do the job. For Big Apple, get down with that mob. Say, who is this tough guy? Down in the ghetto with the garbage brothers, that lives a dude that everyone knows. He's a nasty little sucker, his teeth are green.
2 members from each of the bowling party... let me restart. 2 members from each of the battle parties stepped forward to try to distract the owner of the bowling alley. The garden gnomes sent their leader, a wise and charismatic gnome named Norman, and their most skilled warrior, a gnome with a fiery temper and a penchant for explosives named Boom Boom. The clowns sent their ringmaster, a smooth-talking clown with a silver tongue named Ringo, and their strongest performer, a burly lobster with a heart of gold named Larry. Larry the talking lobster. As they approached the owner, the chaos behind them continued to unfold. The giant monkey robot was still firing lasers and missiles at the clowns and the dancing lobsters, while the garden gnomes were using their gardening tools as makeshift weapons. The owner was clearly flustered, and the distraction team took advantage of that. Norman stepped forward and began to speak in a calm and reassuring voice. Sir, we are deeply sorry for the destruction that has taken place in your establishment. We understand that this is a place where families come to have fun and make memories, and we would hate to ruin that for anyone. We are willing to do whatever it takes to make things right. Ringo chimed in, That's right, sir. We're all just performers just trying to make a living, and we would never intentionally cause harm to anyone or anything. We'd be more than happy to put on a free show for all your patrons as a way of apologizing. The owner was taken aback by their sincerity and generosity. He had never seen such a chaotic and destructive scene turn into an opportunity for fun and entertainment. He agreed. He started seeing those money bags. He agreed to their offer and allowed them to put on a show. which turned out to be a huge hit with the audience watching live on national TV. We're just gonna let it continue. Make his hair wet too. Okay. Hold on, it doesn't know that I'm a magician, so I have to weave this in carefully. Using ancient mystical powers, cause the owner's hair. Okay. To not arouse any suspicion, we're just gonna make it sweaty. That way, he doesn't suspect anything. Okay. Cause the owner's head to become furiously sweaty and dampen his hair. He assumes this is because he is anxious to see the outcome of the battle. Okay. I love how he just blew up his whole fucking bowling alley and was like, bro, just chill, it's all good, bro. As the battle raged on, a strange energy beam began to emanate from the ancient mystical artifacts that had been scattered around the bowling alley. Suddenly, the owner's head started to sweat profusely, and his hair became drenched. The owner assumed it was due to the anxiety of the battle, but little did he know it was because of the ancient powers at B. Meanwhile, the garden gnomes and the giant monkey robot had regrouped and were now fighting with renewed vigor. Boom Boom, the explosive gnome, has set up a trap using bowling balls and a piece of string, which caused the giant monkey robot to stumble and fall. Norman, the wise gnome, was directing the battle from a safe distance, using his extensive knowledge of gardening to come up with creative attacks against the clown and the dancing lobster. What kind of creative gardening is he just gonna fucking plant some flowers and throw it at him? I hope he's not using like fertilizer and splashing them with chemical weapons. The clowns and dancing lobsters were not to be underestimated, however. They had regrouped as well and were now using their agility and acrobatic skills to dodge the garden gnome's attacks. Larry, the burly lobster, had found a discarded bowling pin and was now using it as a makeshift mace, taking out any gnome that came near him. As the battle continued, the ancient mystical powers grew stronger, causing the owner's head to sweat even more. He started to feel dizzy and disoriented, not sure if what he was seeing was real or hallucination brought on by the sweat, but he was determined to see this through to the end and find out who would emerge victorious. It's asking me how the battle ended. Okay. Okay. Take votes from the audience of the nation watching at home. Tell them to vote on their phones right now.
What a difference a day makes. Check me out. Coming to you live and in living
CIA code word for torture.
fucking with you and fucking with me. That's all I gotta say. You know, if you got some action that you want to show, get it off with us. Let me do it to you like you never had it done before. It'll be so good to you, it'll just move me. Gotta check it out.
As the battle continued to rage on, the audience watching at home was on the edge of their seats. They had never seen anything like this before, and they were captivated by the chaos, colorful characters and quirky dialogue. The tension was high, and everyone was wondering who would emerge victorious. Suddenly, the host of the national TV broadcast interrupted the scene. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a crucial development in this epic battle. We are going to let you, the audience at home, decide." I can't even. We're going to let you, the audience at home, decide who the winner should be. All you have to do is vote on your phones right now. The fate of the battle is in your hands. The audience was thrilled at this opportunity of being a part of the action. They quickly pulled out their phones and began to cast their votes. The lines were jammed and this was close and it was a clear race. As the votes started to come in, the tension in the bowling alley grew even higher. The garden gnomes and the clowns and dancing lobsters were fighting with everything they had, knowing that the outcome of the battle was now in the hands of the audience. They're just fighting like, fuck it. Finally, the votes were tallied, and the host of the national TV broadcast announced the winner. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner by a narrow margin. The audience has chosen the gnomes and their giant monkey robot." The garden gnomes erupted in cheers, and even the clowns and dancing lobsters couldn't help but smile. They had put on a show unlike any other, and they had all become friends in the process. As the chaos settled down, the owner of the bowling alley approached the winning team. "You guys may have caused a lot of damage, but I have to admit, that was the most entertaining thing I've seen in my life. You're welcome back here anytime," he said with a smile. And so, the battle ended, but the memories would last a lifetime. The garden gnomes and their giant monkey robot had emerged victorious, but they had also made some unlikely friends along the way. That's good shit. That's a good story right there. I'd buy tickets to see that at a drive-in theater. Hold on, let me come back. I forgot about the magician. Oh shit! I love we get a play-by-play. And what's even more fire is in the YouTube video, I can go back through and take these images, and I can use them as image prompts to make a like AI video. So I can make the pages come to life. This is probably my favorite picture from the whole thing. That really does encapsulate the whole battle. Your kid, take this. Yeah, that's fire. That's fire. Okay. New story. Actually, I'm gonna go grab a snack really quick. I'm getting kind of hungry. So I will show you. I kept this hidden from you. I actually have live footage of the fight between the monkey robot right here, live on your TV. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got some chips and some yogurt. I go crazy for some yogurt. I love yogurt. Okay. And while I am consuming said yogurt, I'll play some more music. We keep on rocking here at KRZY Radio. Good yogurt. Strawberry and peach. All right. I am replenished. Okay. Okay. And now naturally, the story begins on a disco floor in the 1970s. Disco fever. Okay. The dance floor was packed with people dressed in brightly colored clothing, grooving to the funky beats of disco music. The disco ball spun above them, casting groovy lighting across the floor. Amidst the crowd, there was a man named Tony, sporting a white suit and a matching fedora. Tips fedora? He was the king of the disco, and he knew it. Suddenly, a woman in a red dress caught his eye. She was dancing with a group of her friends, but Tony only had eyes for her. He made his way over to her, and they started dancing together. As the night went on, they talked and laughed, completely lost in the music of each other's company. Music and each other's company. As the night started to wind down, Tony asked the woman for her number. She hesitated for a moment, but eventually gave it to him. "Call me," she said with a smile. "Maybe we can go dancing again sometime." Tony couldn't believe his luck. He'd never met anyone like her before. But as he walked home that night, he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. He couldn't put his finger on it, but he just knew that this was the beginning of a wild adventure. Okay. Obviously, we initially have suspicions that she's an alien. And yeah, AI chose Larry as the name for the dancing lobster. So obviously, we have to investigate and see if she is an alien. Let's see. Wait one day and then call the woman. She doesn't know it, but you're suspicious that she might be an alien, but you're not really sure. Okay. That's fire. Oh, I love this song. It's called Rockin' Around the Rocket Ship. That's fire. The next day, Tony waited until the afternoon before calling the woman. He didn't want to seem too eager, but he also couldn't wait to talk to her again. As he dialed her number on his retro telephone, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Suddenly, a glowing UFO appeared in the background. It was as if the aliens were watching him. Tony was convinced that the woman he met last night was an alien and that he was in danger. But when the woman answered the phone, she sounded completely normal. They talked for a while, and Tony couldn't find anything suspicious about her. He started to feel silly for even thinking she was an alien. As they were about to hang up, the woman suddenly said, "Tony, I have to tell you something. I'm not from around here." Tony's heart skipped a beat. He knew it. She was an alien after all. Okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna give the AI a little bit of guidance. Okay. She's actually a lobster alien, but she is embarrassed about it. How should I fuck that up? She doesn't reveal her true nature, but it slowly starts to become apparent to Tony. In let's see, tiny mysterious ways. No, hold on, wait. It starts to become apparent to Tony as he begins to notice weird things about her. Okay, I like that. Okay, and as far as what Tony will do, we'll play it cool, but obviously we're curious about where she's from. Listen to what she has to say, but constantly stay vigilant in investigating, or in checking her vibes. Yeah. Okay. Her name is Larita. Okay. Okay. Good call. Okay. Run it. That's fire. Hey, I get that as a tattoo any day of the week. Okay. Tony played it cool, but he couldn't shake the feeling that Larry Till was hiding something from him. As they talked, she revealed that she was from a distant planet called Aquaria, and that she was a marine biologist studying Earth's oceans. Tony tried to act interested, but he was distracted by the fact that Larita's eyes and arms were starting to look like big, meaty claws. He rubbed his eyes, thinking that he was seeing things, but when he looked again, her arms had definitely changed. Despite the weirdness, Tony tried to keep the conversation going. He asked about her home planet and what it was like, but Larita was evasive. She seemed uncomfortable talking about it, and Tony couldn't even help but wonder what she was hiding. As they said their goodbyes, Tony couldn't shake the feeling that he was in over his head. He didn't know what to make of Larita, but he knew that he had to be careful. Okay, so we recruit Tony's friend in we'll recruit Tony's friend in figuring out what's going on. Yeah. Recruit Tony's friend in figuring out what's going on. Hold on, I'm going to regenerate it. Fuck yeah. Tony decided to get his friend Carlos involved. He knew that Carlos was into all things sci-fi and could help him figure out what's going on with Larita. Tony called Carlos and asked him to come over to his apartment and discuss something important. When Carlos arrived, Tony sat him down and explained everything about Larita, the lobster arms, and her mysterious origin. Carlos listened intently, nodding along as Tony spoke. After Tony finished, Carlos sat back in his chair, deep in thought. "I think I know what's going on here," he said finally. "Larita is an alien. But not just any alien. She's a lobster alien." Tony's eyes widened in disbelief. "What does that even mean?" he asked. Carlos explained that the lobster aliens were a rare species from the planet Aquaria, known for their... How does he know? Well, props to him for knowing. That's why everybody needs to know a Carlos in their life. They're a rare species from the planet Aquaria, known for their ability to change their form to blend in with their surroundings. It was a defense mechanism, but it also made them excellent spies. Tony started to feel a little queasy. He couldn't believe that he'd gotten involved with an alien spy, but he knew that he couldn't just confront her without any proof. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this is the 1970s, so we don't have cell phones. We can't just record her and be like, "Gotcha." Let's see. Okay. Sneakily try to gather evidence. Yeah. Tony and Carlos decided to do some sneaky investigating to gather evidence of Larita's true identity. They spent the next few days trying to find any clues or hints that could prove that she was in fact a lobster alien spy. They searched through her apartment looking for any unusual objects or gadgets that could be alien technology. They followed her when she went out, hoping to catch her doing something suspicious. They even hacked into her computer in the 1970s to see if there was any incriminating evidence. But no matter how hard they looked, they couldn't find anything concrete. Larita seemed like a perfectly normal person with no signs of being an alien spy. Tony started to feel like he was going crazy. Maybe he was just paranoid. Maybe there was just a perfectly reasonable explanation for everything. But then, one day, he saw something that made his blood run cold. It was Larita. Hold on, let me change the music to something more suspenseful. Let's see. Okay, beautiful. But then one day, he saw something that made his blood run cold. It was Larita walking down the street. Lobster claws fully engaged. She didn't seem to notice, but Tony knew that it was proof of her true identity. Call the local news. Okay. Call the local news and tell them we've got the scoop of the century. Yeah. He's got a fucking alien computer. Hey, nothing suspicious though. Booings? Knowing the news? Ending the beninging. We need like some horns. Beep, 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 beep. Booings news. Tony couldn't believe what he had seen. Larita was definitely an alien, and he had proof. He knew he had to act fast before she realized that he knew. Instead of confronting her, Tony decided to call the local news station and tell them about his discovery. He knew it was a risky move, but he felt like it was the only way to get the word out and protect himself. Within minutes, a team of journalists arrived at Tony's apartment, ready to report on the news. They set up their cameras and microphones, and Tony gave them the whole story. The mysterious woman, lobster claws, alien technology. The news crew was thrilled. This was the scoop of the century. They started filming immediately, interviewing Tony and Carlos, getting shots of the evidence they'd gathered. Tony felt a little bit like a celebrity as the cameras rolled. But he also knew that he was in danger. Larita was sure to come after him now that he had exposed her secret. Oh, shit. Okay. And we gotta make this somehow wrap back around to him being excellent at dancing disco. That's what it's gotta come back to somehow. Let's see. Let's just let it continue. Let's let it roll. Okay, it's fine. I wish it gave me an image, but that's fine. Okay, let's... Okay, Tony was nervous about what would happen next. He didn't know what Larita was capable of or how she would react to being exposed. He decided to go into hiding until he could figure out his next move. He and Carlos packed their bags and left the city, heading to a secluded cabin in the woods. They spent the next few days holed up, watching the news coverage of the story and trying to come up with a plan. But then, one night, they heard a knock at the door. Tony's heart raced as he crept over to the peephole and looked out. It was Larita, standing on the porch, her lobster claws clacking together. Tony hesitated for a moment, but then he decided to open the door. He knew he couldn't hide forever. Larita stepped inside, her eyes glowing in the darkness. "I don't want to hurt you," she said, her voice raspy. "I just want to talk." We'll talk to her and hear her out. The cops will only come if they beat him in a disco competition. Okay. Okay, talk to her and hear her out. What do you know? Maybe something cool will come out of it. Wait, hold on. Let me instruct it. Don't forget about the scene image. Okay. Okay. There we go. I was missing the visuals. We need a cabin in the woods. I mean, how else will we picture it in our head? I'm running wild. Oh, fuck yeah. That's dope. That's dope. This is the music Larita's listening to as she's going to find Tony. Okay. Tony took a deep breath and decided to trust Larita. He motioned forward to sit down on the couch and poured her a glass of water. I know you're an alien, he said, his voice shaking a little, but I want to hear your story. Why are you here? What do you want? Larita took a sip of water. That's a good idea. I want a sip of water. Okay. Larita took a sip of water and began to speak. She told Tony about her home planet, a world filled with strange creatures and advanced technology. She had explained that she had came to Earth to study human behavior and culture, hoping to learn something new. I never meant to hurt anyone, she said, her lobster claws clicking together. I just wanted to observe. Tony listened to her story, feeling a mixture of fear and fascination. He had never met an alien before, and he couldn't help but be a little bit intrigued by the idea. Okay. The option, what it says right here is help her with her studies or turn her over to the authorities. Since she's a spy, I mean, she knows that she's been in a few situations where somebody's been a double agent, you know? Somebody's been a mole. So we will help her with her studies while gathering evidence so that we can turn it over to the authorities. Help her with her studies in order to secretly gather evidence so that we can turn it over to the authorities later. Yes. She's a spy, after all. How do you spell that? I guess it's yours. He's in heat. He wants some. Tony made his decision. He would help Larita with her studies, but he would also secretly gather evidence to turn her over to the authorities later. Over the next few weeks, Tony and Larita worked together on a series of experiments designed to test human behavior. They watched movies, listened to music, and went on long walks through the woods. But all the while, Tony was keeping his eyes open for anything suspicious. He took notes on Larita's behavior, recorded her conversations, and photographed her when she wasn't looking. Finally, after weeks of research, Tony had enough evidence to turn Larita over to the authorities. He called the FBI and arranged for them to meet him at the cabin in the woods. When the agents arrived, Tony handed them the evidence and watched as they took Larita into custody. He felt a mixture of relief and sadness as he saw her being led away in handcuffs. But he knew that he had done the right thing. he had helped to stop a spy and protect his country from harm. And maybe, just maybe, he had learned something new about himself in the process. Okay, we're not gonna have the ending rely on the disco dance, but we will bring it back around because we can do anything. With this newfound confidence and outlook on life, Tony returns to the disco dancing that he loved so much. Okay, wait. Tony returns to disco dance hall. Yep. With this newfound confidence and outlook on life, Tony returned to the disco dance hall that he loved so much. Wait. Tony walked onto the disco dance hall feeling like a new man. He strutted onto the dance floor feeling the groovy beats of the music. Hold on, wait. Let me change the music. There we go. There we go. Tony walked onto the disco dance hall feeling like a new man. He strutted out onto the dance floor, feeling the groovy beats of the music flow through him. He danced with carefree abandon, not caring what anyone thought of him. As he danced, he realized that he didn't need to worry so much about what others thought of him. He just needed to be true to himself and what made him happy. And so, Tony danced the night away, feeling happy and free for the first time in a long time. The end. That was a fire story. That was a fucking fire story. Fuck yeah. Hold on. Oh yeah. Some great images from that one. Who would have thought that she was a lobster? I never saw it coming. I never saw it coming. Yeah, that was fire. I think that's a good one to end it on too. But I will be back at it again tomorrow. Find out what happens next time on Hillary Squintin. But yeah, I'm not sure what time I'll be live tomorrow, but I will be live. I'll probably be doing more of this. Maybe I have some more stuff that I'll be doing. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. But yeah, thank you for watching. And I will give us a video. Play us off. Remember, you can always defeat an alien lobster as long as you have a friend named Carlos. And with that, I bid you adieu. Godspeed, soldiers. May you be successful in your quest against the alien spies what's the word I'm looking for? Toil with our mere human lives. Like puppets on a string. But yes, thank you for watching. And I am out. Good night.